As a leader here, I take patient safety as a really top priority. It's one of the most important things I do as a president.
So when I was a second-year resident, I was on the cardiac service in the ICU. And at that time, we used to change people's central lines over wire. We did it as a routine, and they had 3 little entry points for where nurses could give medication. And in each one of those entry points, you would give about 50 milligrams of heparin. And it was pretty straightforward. It took about 10 minutes. And I had a patient who had had heart surgery the day before. And that night I went in, I did the usual routine. I changed the central line, I took down the dressing, I got ready to leave the room, and suddenly the patient was oozing from every wound that he had. And what had happened is the vials of heparin came in 50, 500, and 5,000. And so I gave 5,000 units of heparin 3 times. And so that was a huge dose. And certainly the patient couldn't clot anymore, stopped clotting. Normally, you would give some medicine to reverse that, just to stop it. But he had heart surgery yesterday. And so you can't, because you could clot the vessels that were fixed. So there was nothing to do but wait for it to stop. No one came to talk to me about it. The only conversation that evening was, I'm filing an incident report. And then the next day, the attending physician came in and said that, I was irrational, stupid, I was a failure, I tried to injure his patient, and really a lot of terrible things about that event that was really, I had enough worry around it. I kind of didn't need someone to yell at me about it. And then the last thing he said was, in my 3 years as a cardiac fellow, we didn't make any errors. And I knew that's not true, right? That's just not true. You didn't talk about them, you didn't admit to them, but you certainly made them.
We surveyed staff to understand how they view the hospital's safety culture, and we learned that over half of our employees feel comfortable reporting errors. But many staff still feel that mistakes they may make are held against them. At Brigham and Women's Faulkner Hospital, our goal is to create an environment where all staff feel comfortable speaking up and talking about errors, so we can learn from events and improve the care we provide to our patients.
Just culture is us holding each other accountable for creating a safe environment, for having safe systems, having an environment where we can identify errors and feel safe talking about them and learning from them.
I hope that every time something wrong happens or an event occurs, that we can all learn from that event, that we can take a system situation and not put blame to people for something that they did, whether it's a human error or a systems mistake, and feel supported, but then that we can actually dig into the details to that event and figure out how can we make the system safer and better.
To create an environment where all staff feel comfortable talking about errors, we are adopting the principles of a collaborative, just culture. Using this safety culture tool, we understand that we are all human and can make mistakes. We are often making decisions in the face of competing priorities. Our systems can sometimes directly contribute to error.
We're a team, and everybody has their role in the team, and that goes from the front end staff, the nurses and physicians at the bedside, the technicians, the phlebotomists. We're all a team here, but it rolls all the way up through the directors and through senior leadership to make sure that we have a system in place that allows for really safe, effective work together as a team. That I can say to a colleague, I don't think that's right, that we're safe around that we can share our worries about an error, and that we can work together to improve how things work.
I hope that every staff realizes that they have a huge part in bringing forward issues, that they are empowered to say, stop the line, stop this event, bring forward ideas about how they can make their jobs safer, or look at other people's jobs and saying, this is causing problems, and that they feel empowered to be able to say, we can make this better, and I have the power to do that.
And so if folks are reporting and they're not feeling like they're being heard or allowed to report, we want them to escalate that up the chain, either their director or their vice president or even myself. We really want to hear about it regardless of how it gets to us.
We are all accountable for our choices, but in a safe culture, we do not punish for the human errors that we're all prone to or for decisions that we could all make in the face of competing priorities.
I take patient safety and just culture very seriously personally because as a trainee, as a physician, I've had several incidents myself where I made an error. This was many, many years ago, and I certainly didn't feel supported. I felt ashamed. I felt personally responsible. Now, in retrospect, knowing what I know about patient safety, I know that there are actually many systems issues that actually contributed to the error. And I don't want other people to go through that same experience and feeling unsupported or penalized, when really it's all about making the systems better and better.
Because at the end of the day, this really is about our patients and their families. And it's about us doing the right thing.